Why are girls short? Like, really, why? It's one of those questions you think about when you can't reach the top shelf or when your tall friend uses your head as an armrest and you start rethinking your entire life's evolution. Across every country, culture, and continent, women are shorter than men. On average, about 5 inches shorter. It doesn't matter whether you're in Japan or Germany or Peru, it's the same pattern. So, what's going on here? Did evolution just pick favorites? Did Mother Nature have a height preference? You might think, oh, it's just genetics. Sure. But why did the genes decide that half of the human population should require a step stool to change a light bulb? See, the real answer isn't just biology. It's a story, one that goes from prehistoric survival instincts to modern beauty standards, from hormones that grow your bones to hormones that betray them. So buckle up, because the reason girls are short is older than humanity itself. And it starts with puberty. Yeah, the villain in every teenage story ever. You know how puberty is supposed to be your body growing up and becoming mature? Yeah, well, it's also when nature sneakily decides your final height. Girls usually start puberty earlier, around age 10 or 11. Boys start around 12 or 13. That's only a 2-year difference, but it changes everything. Because here's what happens: when puberty starts, the body releases growth hormones, and at first, it's amazing. You grow taller, stronger, your legs stretch, your bones elongate. But then estrogen arrives. Estrogen is like that friend who's sweet, supportive, and then randomly ruins your plans. It helps you grow faster for a bit, and then suddenly says, okay, that's enough, and shuts off the growth plates in your bones. In scientific terms, the epiphyseal plates, your growth zones, close under estrogen. In emotional terms, it's like your skeleton gets ghosted by puberty. Boys, on the other hand, get testosterone, which keeps those growth plates open for longer. So while girls' bones stop stretching, boys keep growing like overwatered bamboo. That's why you have 12-year-old girls towering over boys in middle school, and then, 2 years later, the boys look like they were left in the dryer too long. So yes, the first reason girls are shorter? Estrogen. Beautiful, powerful, bone-closing estrogen. It gives you your curves, your maturity, and your confidence, but it literally takes inches off your height. The betrayal is personal. Now, let's rewind a few 100,000 years, back when style meant fur and dirt, and survival meant not getting eaten. In the prehistoric world, being tall wasn't as useful as you might think. Food was scarce, winters were brutal, and calories were precious. A smaller body? That was an evolutionary blessing. Shorter people use less energy, need less food, and keep warm more easily. For early women, who had to survive pregnancy, childbirth, and famine, smaller bodies meant greater efficiency. Anthropologists found that in hunter-gatherer tribes, shorter women actually had higher reproductive success, meaning their children were more likely to survive when times were hard. So evolution didn't make women short because it felt like it. It made them short because it worked. Meanwhile, men evolved differently. They were hunters, warriors, protectors. Taller, stronger frames helped them throw spears, fight predators, and look intimidating to rival tribes. It wasn't about aesthetics. It was about division of labor. So yes, you could say nature built women to endure, not to impress. And fun fact, the oldest recorded human skeletons already show this pattern: men taller, women shorter. It's been consistent for over 100,000 years. In short, pun-intended, evolution wasn't being unfair. It was being practical. Now, let's bring in some cold, hard numbers. Globally, the average height for women is about 5 feet 4 inches and for men, about 5 feet 9 inches. That's roughly the same across most populations, the 5-inch rule of nature. Scientists say about 80% of your height is determined by genetics, and 20% by environment, like nutrition, sleep, and childhood health. So yes, you can thank, or blame, your parents for most of it. If your mom's 5 feet 1 inch and your dad's 5 feet 6 inches, your DNA didn't even try. But here's the twist, nutrition can literally rewrite those genes. In the 1800s, the average Dutch woman was around 5 feet 2 inches. Now? She's 5 feet 7 inches, the tallest female average in the world. Why? Cheese, milk, and healthcare. On the flip side, in areas where malnutrition or chronic stress are common, average heights stay low. Your bones don't grow in chaos, they grow in comfort. So yes, your breakfast choices and childhood sleep schedule might have stolen an inch or two from you. Go ahead, blame your parents for not buying calcium milk. But now we step into something less biological and more emotional. Our obsession with height. Somewhere along the way, humans turned inches into identity. Tall equals powerful, confident, attractive. Short equals cute, gentle, non-threatening. It's not biology, it's branding. From fairy tales to movies, we've been fed this pattern. The prince towers. The princess looks up in admiration. Even in modern dating culture, you'll still hear "I like tall guys" as if it's a genetic requirement, not a preference. But funny thing, science doesn't actually back up the taller equals better myth. There's no evidence that taller people are more intelligent, more moral, or even healthier after a certain point. They're just taller. Yet, our brains still equate height with dominance. It's ancient wiring. In the wild, taller animals usually lead. So we subconsciously imported that idea into human society. But here's the irony, women, though shorter, have historically outlived men, survived more hardships, and adapted better to crises. So if height was truly power, evolution clearly didn't get the memo. Here's where it gets interesting, height is changing again. Thanks to nutrition, safety, and healthcare, women today are taller than ever before. South Korean women, for instance, have grown an average of 8 inches taller in just 100 years. That's the biggest jump in recorded history. And that's evolution in action, not over thousands of years, but within a few generations. So technically, nature is rewriting its old rulebook. The shorter female design might slowly fade. We're seeing it already, girls are growing taller earlier, and modern lifestyles are reshaping hormonal balances. But the 5-inch average still stands. Because evolution, unlike fashion trends, moves slowly. And maybe, it doesn't need to change. Because being shorter was never a flaw. It was always function. Now here's my favorite part, the poetic twist. Science shows that shorter people tend to live longer. Their hearts work more efficiently, their cells divide more cleanly, and their metabolism produces fewer aging toxins. Translation, short people might be closer to the ground, but further from the grave. So, why do you need to be tall when you already have the main character energy? And hey, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Or don't, just know that your next thought might be, why didn't I subscribe to that weirdly relatable channel?